Hey everyone, and good morning. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. It is March 31st here, and we are going to do a little cruise news. Let's go talk about it. Hey everyone, John here from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk a little cruise news. It's been a while. I was on a cruise a few weeks ago. So we haven't done cruise news in a few weeks. I feel a little out of practice from doing my cruise news. So let's get into, I had a whole bunch of stories, first of all. And then I had to go through and filter all the ones that don't make any sense anymore because they've already been covered ad nauseum. So I'm going to go through a few cruise news stories today, and then I'm going to talk about a story that kind of really intrigued me and kind of gives a good representation of where we're at with news and media in this day and age of news everywhere. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk first about the Margaritaville Islander is currently going to be doing 4-day sailings this year. So as you know, there are going to be two Margaritaville ships, and the newest Margaritaville Islander, finishing up all the bells and whistles on it to come out into service, going to start sailing out of Tampa, doing 4-day sailings. I'm going on Margaritaville in July, and that one goes out. The original Margaritaville ship goes out of West Palm and does like 2 and 3 day sailings. We'll see how that goes. The newer Margaritaville Islander is going to be going out of Tampa. It's going to be doing 4-day sailings. By the end of this year, it's going to be doing 5-day sailings as well. And then they've just announced that in 2025, it's going to be doing 6 and 7-day sailings to the Western Caribbean. I think that's really exciting. I think the more variety we have out there in cruising, the more ships that pop out, the better it is for all of us who love cruising. And it's going to give us some more options. It's hopefully going to kind of regulate the pricing, the crazy pricing that's going on right now in cruising. I tried to book a Royal Caribbean ship today. I was like, you know what? Let me try to get on maybe even like Utopia or something for just a little quick trip so I can get something newer into my itinerary, because I just, I've been going on a lot of like, not older ships, but just like nothing new that I have lined up for the rest of the year. So I was like, let me try to squeeze something in. I can't get on a Royal Caribbean ship for less than $4,000. Just for me, for one person. It's crazy. So hopefully having all this additional inventory coming in, maybe if Virgin can ever get their new ship off the ground and get some of these new ships out, hopefully that'll help. Anyway, next up, let's talk about the Disney Destiny. This one happened while we were on our last cruise. The Disney Destiny has announced it is going to be heroes and villain themed. I love that idea. Another cruise line that's just way too expensive. I would love to go on a Disney cruise just to kind of get some frame of reference for how it is compared to everything else, considering the high price tag. I'm going to do it at some point. I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it, but I can't continue to do super expensive cruises. With the amount of cruising that we do, I have to pick and choose my battles. And right now, MSC and NCL are winning that battle. This is a little more affordable to do it. Next bit of cruise news is a little coffee flavored. So if you like your oat milk, Oatly, the big brand, has signed a distribution deal with Virgin Voyages. So they will now be on all of the Virgin cruise ships. So if you love your oat milk, you can now get Oatly oat milk on all of your Virgin Voyages. Next up, a fun cruise news story. Antigua, the port, which I like very much. I like that it's still like a cultural port. There are some ports that I love because you can just wander around the port area and have a really nice time, like we did on our recent ones, like Harvest Key and in Costa Maya. But I also like the really cultural ports where you can just get off, like Bermuda, right? Where you can kind of go out and wander around. Antigua still has that local flair to it. They welcomed 15,000 guests on March 12th. That's incredible for that tiny little island there to get 15,000 people. I only wish a lot of these islands, the money actually went back to the people and not just to the government and to the tourism board or whoever takes the money there, because obviously the people are still very poor, so it's a shame. But it is nice to see that island getting some heavy traffic there and getting some good tourism. So at this point, we'd love to ask you to subscribe to our channel. We put out a cruise video every single day. Sometimes it's a vlog, sometimes it's cruise news, sometimes it's a ship tour. We do it all. So come and join us on this fun journey. We're just a small travel agency trying to give you some insider access and the best information we can about cruising so you can plan and go on an amazing cruise vacation. Who doesn't want to do that and not pay too much money? So next up, we have a couple more pieces of cruise news. One is MSC is a year away from bringing out and christening its brand new MSC World America ship. They're going to be doing the naming ceremony at their brand new terminal in Miami. So two brand new things at once. I love it. I can't wait for the World America. I can't wait for it to be out and to give us yet another MSC ship here in the U.S. that we can all jump on and enjoy ourselves on. And then last bit of cruise news is Royal Caribbean's developing a Royal Beach Club in Cozumel. This one came out when we were on our last cruise as well, but I just wanted to touch on it. I think this is really the future of some of these cruises. I think like going on a ship like Icon or Wonder or any of like the giant ships where the ship is the destination. I kind of think that these like Perfect Day and the Royal Beach Clubs, I think that's the future of safe cruising. Because as we're seeing with like alerts in Jamaica and Nassau and, you know, obviously we can't even go to the private island Labadee right now, but these little secluded things that are going to be owned by the cruise lines, I think that's a way to kind of insulate themselves from having some of these issues, even like the pandemic-wise issues. Having something that you own that you can kind of figure out. And obviously, we still wouldn't be able to cruise during a pandemic, but having something where maybe, you know, you're not as tied down to these governments and regulations as you would be. So last but not least, I want to talk about a little story that I saw on the news. As I'm always filtering through the cruise news to try to pull stories and different things, I come across some interesting stories. And one of the things that always cracks me up is how quick people are to jump the gun on a story or to report something. We talked about this. I talk about it all the time. And obviously, like YouTubers are guilty of it, content creators, whatever. But also, like YouTubers, most YouTubers are not journalists. Like, let's be honest, they're just trying to pump out videos and do different things, right? I put out a video every day, but also I try not to just jump the gun on things. I'd rather not. I'm not trying to break news here. I'm not Woj in the NBA, so I'm not trying to like break cruise news stories here. I'd be the first person to reported first on bite-sized cruise. It's never going to happen unless I take my dog for a walk, and I'm the first one to report that because you know Matt Hochberg is not outside of my house watching me walk my dog, or Tony from La Lila Loca. So both of whom I love, and they do a great job. But I'm just kidding. So one of the things, the story that I saw was a news story that a news station was doing on a couple that was on a Norwegian cruise in Africa. If you've seen the story, you know the story. They, the story is they got stranded by the cruise line in Africa. They're trying to get back to the ship. They're not getting a response from the cruise line. They called the captain and, there's all this drama. So they interviewed them and they were like, we were on a tour. It was running late. We told them that those tour people called the captain and the captain wouldn't wait for us. First of all, I've never in a million years heard of anything like that. First of all, no one's calling the captain. Like some tour operator in Africa does not have the phone number of the captain of the crew of the ship. So, there's so many things where you're just watching it and you're like, no, nobody fact checked anything in this story. They just thought it was a compelling story and they ran the story. And this is one of the things that I really hate about these type of shows and journalism is that the point of journalism and reporting is to get the story right. The thing in this one was, first of all, it seems like they were on an excursion, not a cruise line excursion, right? And they missed the ship is what happened. What happens is they were on an excursion, it didn't get back in time, and they missed the ship, which happens all the time. But this news station ran with it, and then now I just saw they did a follow-up where they're like, hey, we talked to Norwegian, and Norwegian was like, hey, they missed all the all aboards. We didn't do anything. They were on their own little thing. There's 8 of them. They missed it. And like the people are like, well, there's a elderly woman that has heart issues. There's a quadriplegic there. And these people don't have their medicine. Yes, this is why you need to get back to the cruise ship on time. This is why you need to be aware of the ship's time when you're out in a port. This is why you shouldn't take excursions if they're not with a reputable company. I don't always even recommend that you have to take the the like cruise line excursions. You certainly don't. You could take Viator, like there's many other ones that are reputable. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to get back to that ship. If you have to say like, hey, we got to go. Or if you don't and you miss the ship, which certainly happens and it happens all the time, you also have to take responsibility for that and not be like calling news stations like they abandoned us. They certainly didn't abandon you. You missed the ship. They're not holding up 4,000 people because you're late. So it's your responsibility. And they're like, we don't have our passport. You should have you're in Africa. You're in another continent. You should certainly have your passports with you when you get off the ship. So yeah, just my little aside there. That's why I put this at the end. So if you didn't want to, you didn't have to listen to me rant about news and those type of things. That's why we don't really do reporting. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm telling you fun things that happened. I'm certainly not a journalist. So that's it for today. Happy Easter again if you celebrate, and hope you have a wonderful day with your family or friends or whatever you're up to today. And we will see everyone tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.